Okay, it's working. Look, I've been looking at the data like for 2 months on this Charlie Victor thing. This coronavirus going around, and we're trying to get a knuckle on it and understand how these figures make sense, and they're not making sense in some cases. Uh, but if you change a couple of assumptions, they make really good sense. I'm going to take you to the screen here, and we got. Can we see the screen? I can see it over to here and down to there. Good. Okay, let's see. Are we live? Well, looks like we're live. Okay, where's the data? Here we go. I've got some charts I've been putting together because I'm trying to understand this particular chart. It just it doesn't want to make sense, but I think I finally made sense of it. Okay, let's get rid of it. And I'm going to walk you through what's going on. And we'll get rid of this one too. Okay, top of the chart, real simple, real simple. The green is data. The white is calculated. Pretty darn simple. Here's your number of cases that are reported. There's your daily gain in cases. There's a percentage. I can make this bigger, matter of fact. There we go. That's probably good enough. D is deaths. Let's see. Can I write that in there? Yeah, deaths. CFR is your case fatality rate, where is D, the deaths, divided by the number of cases. Simple and easy, right? There's your gain in D, how many deaths, new deaths per day. There's your percent gain. This is recovered. And that's going to be important in a bit. That's how many people have recovered in that day. Then you have your exit number, right, which is D plus R. How many people have died? How many have recovered? Because really there's only two ways to get out of this disease. That's either to die or recover. And there's a bit of a lag time in there from when you catch it to when you die or when you recover in there. Keep on going here. Here's your daily recovery gain. There's D plus R. This is D over D plus R, which is the percentage of exit cases that have resulted in death. And then I've got R gain minus C gain. Let me look at this figure. Okay, that's the number of new recoveries less the number of new cases. So when this is R gain minus C gain, if this is positive, yeah, then the number of infections, number of active infections would go down. So we want to see this in positive territory. And it's been there a little bit. It's been there for, for brief periods, but right now it's definitely negative. But at least it's a smaller negative than the max, because the max was up around 83,000. Okay, good. And the number of active cases, right now 1.4 million in the world. That's a lot. All right, let's look at the data here. We got, what you got here, this is Worldometer, pretty darn handy, and it's an accurate reflection of what Johns Hopkins has, which is here, okay? And also I use COVID-19 info.live. They've got a couple of statistics that are a little bit handier, such as in here, the outside mainland China, which is pretty much the total that you see over here. There's China. That's the total you see over here minus the number of cases in China. But it's pretty handy. Got a useful map. There it is. You got a few countries that are red and black stripes. Those are your big ones. Okay, but I just take the data and then do my own math. All right, so let's look at that data. Where are you here? We got 2 million active cases. Well, 2 million total cases in the world. Probably 1.5 million are active. 134,000 cases. And I pointed out just the other day that the United States should see a spike in the number of cases, because there's no way, where are you here? There's no way you can have this sudden, well, not sudden, but this decrease in growth. You can't have that reflect in a decrease in cases immediately. There's a lag. It takes time from when you catch the virus to when you start showing symptoms, if you do, to when you get serious, you need medical attention, to when you die. And if you don't die, it takes longer before you even recover. So the data on this, we're showing a pretty flat line right here these past few days in the number of cases. And it was also showing a reduction in the number of deaths. I said, there's no way this is going to happen. And I drew some lines to connect the two dots between the daily deaths and the daily new cases, and said, it's going to have to spike. Well, it has, and it's still going up. And this should come around to about 3,000 to 3,500 per day based on these figures, and keep up for about a week and a half or more. All right. But I've been right about everything so far, and I'm going to give you some I'm going to give you some bullshit. Ready? Okay, let's go back to this. No, let's start back here. We got a guy on YouTube. His name is Chris Martenson. He and another guy operate a site called Peak Prosperity, and he's been tracking this disease for weeks. And he came up with this graph, which I can show you in a bit. And he doesn't understand what the heck's going on with this. And he's also working on some figures, but I think I've got the reason why this goes down and then comes back up. And let's explain what the heck that is. You ready? Let's go for a trip. Okay, you got some great little charts on this on Worldometers. Wonderful charts here. Let's see. Where do I get that graph? It was here. I found it earlier. I had it out. Is it on here? Here we go. We're going to look at the closed cases. And this is Worldometers, where they take one single graph and chart both the number of recovered and the number of deaths. And we look at the chart. Can I make that bigger? How can I make that bigger? Okay, I can show you what he's got. He made it bigger. It's over here. There you go. Started early on rather high, but you got to figure you get small number of cases here, and the doctors, when it's new, don't know how to treat it because it's a new disease. But it came down, and then it's been growing again, and it's stabilized about 21%. Okay, let's see if I can reproduce that using my figures. All right, we got the number of cases, and this is a beautiful graph. It's exponential. Everything you would expect from a virus, with every possible advantage. There you go, exponential curve, straight up. And these numbers down here, this is the early days of China, right? And they had a little spurt here where they changed the way they counted, and they added 15,000 new cases overall. But they kind of got their situation under control, and then the rest of the world took over. Okay. And this is what exponential growth looks like. The number of cases, new ones per day, grows exponentially. Okay, so there's that one. Now they're trying to figure out what is the case fatality rate of this disease. It's a big one. It's up in the air. So I'm going to take it from January 27, all right, all the way up to today. Now, mind you, China was dominant in this. If you look at the international side of the graph, they were pretty much dominant until figure 1,000 cases internationally started to come in, and at that point China had 75, and their figures kind of stopped at around where are you here, around 80,000, 81,000. But this is what China reports, and it's beyond believable. It's beyond bullshit. I've been saying that all along, but now I've got some more meat to throw into this. Okay, so here, mid-February, and I'm going to add a line here. Let's see, insert column, so I can get an actual data point. 1, 2, 3. There, this is just going to be a count. That's all it is. It's a line count. And that'll be handy in a bit. And let's drag that down. Can I just, there, that counts it up. So I've been tracking it for, what day is this? 16th. I've been tracking it for 117 days. Is that right? No, that's May. April, 87 days I've been tracking it. Okay, let's take a look at the deaths here. Now the deaths are also exponential. Now let's take a look at the graph on that. And here's the graph of the deaths. It's pretty much identical to the number, to the cases. It's in direct proportion, but it is with a bit of a lag. All right. Now, the CFR is how many deaths per case. So I take 107 in this instance, divide by 4,400, multiplied by 100, so I get percentage, and it's 2.43%. Now I'm going to graph that one. Okay, let's see. Where's the graph button? This gives you an idea of what it's been doing over time. It was kind of low, then it grew, and then it leveled off. This is really neat here because it grew and leveled off, and it's been steadily climbing ever since. And I think you can see only to about here. So let me move that graph over just a bit. And we got these great numbers at the bottom. You're going to love this. Let's go up and see where is this area, 35 to 40, because that's where it stops being level. And I'll drag the chart with me here. Okay, right there. Around 35 to 40, that's when the international numbers started to become a little more prominent, you know, as 1,000, 2,000, 4,000. And China was at their peak. At 35 to 40, they were at 79, 80. That's it. They said, that's it. That's all we got, no more. So this point, this flat line, the end of it, let's see, is line number 39 thereabouts, which is perfectly lines up with when China says they got their maximum right there. This is where it is, right in here. Okay, but geez, the rest of the world is still continuing. The case fatality rate is still climbing. Now, a lot of people that know have been going with the idea that 1% case fatality rate is the expectation. And I've got that over here on, nope, on this one here. So we got world population. There it is. There's Africa, Asia, Europe, North America. He's the USA. And attack rate is how many cases would be expected. What percentage of the population should be expected to get this disease? And a low side would be 30%, but I'm going with a high side of 70, and most estimates go between 70 to 85. So these are at best conservative figures. And we're going with a case fatality rate of 1%. So if all these people, or if this percentage of this many people get sick, we have that many cases. And if we have that many cases, we can expect this many deaths. Okay, so where's the USA fit in there? Let me get over there and highlight there. There's the US. I'm going to make that, how about blue for red, white, and blue? Right there, that's a good blue. There's the USA. Florida's right underneath it, and then Columbia County, and then my little town. All right, so we're saying 2.275, 2 million deaths would be the expectation with a case fatality rate of 1%. All right, well, there's some background for you. Let's get back over here. So there's the death, but it's climbing. The case fatality rate is climbing. All right, but it's also climbing at a fairly constant rate, whereas, watch this, you ready for this? Whereas the number of cases is slowing down. Here's the daily number of new cases, and this is slowing down beautifully. Let's graph that one for you, because we're about 5% growth rate now. This is the daily number of cases, and it's not increasing anymore. A lot of places have a lockdown. States, the whole of America, Canada, the whole of North and South America, most of Asia, most of Europe. I think the Aussies. I think the only place not locked down is like Bimini, and they'd be okay. They get away with it. But this early on bit, this is China. This little spike is where they had that correction and added 15,000 cases. And then China went down, and there was a pause, and then the rest of the world took over. And it was growing exponentially, and then all these measures came into place to slow it down, and this is what it's doing. It's slowing down. All right, we're still growing, but at a lower percentage per day. So let me give you the chart of percent per day. Where is that one? That's going to be this column. Can I just click on that and graph the whole damn thing? That's kind of frig. All right. Okay, here's the percent gain. So this is your percent gain, the number of cases, or actually the percentage of cases added each day. And there we go. What you got here? Here's China. Oh, what'd I do? Undo that. There we go. So here's China early on, the delay in between when it got out of China and into the rest of the world. And the rest of the world, we saw it and took action and trimmed it back. But it's still, what are we at? 3, 4, 5% per day. Huh. That's kind of interesting. I can't make this work. Okay, click it here. Bear with me. I don't usually show this stuff off too often. I should be able to stretch it out so it will show up a little better. And we're starting to look. We've got a spike at the front, slow down, and then a secondary hump. Aha, which is what we're trying to match up with this thing over here. Okay, well, there's a hell of a good match. All right, now I went on earlier about how you can get out of this thing. There's two ways. One is to die, right? That's your case fatality rate. The other one is to recover. Okay, so let's look at the deaths versus recovered. And we're going to chart that one. Because a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I was talking about the case fatality rate, which is column E over here, and the deaths as a ratio of the exit numbers. And let me see if you can see what I can see. Okay, I screwed this up. Wait for it. There it is. And that's this column, D over D plus R. And I can show you the formula here. Which is D plus R divided into the number of deaths. So D plus R is the deaths plus the recovered divided into the deaths. All right, so this will tell us what percentage the deaths are. There we go. Of the exits, and this is a perfect thing right here. This is a perfect fit for what we're trying to identify. We got a spike at the beginning, a leveling off, and this is almost mathematically perfect down here, and then it comes off in levels. Okay, if I can pull this up in another place somewhere in this chart that would make sense, that would really help to support my idea. Okay, let's get this down here. And I'm going to move this down here too. I can shrink this. Let me shrink that. How do I do that? There we go. So there's the case fatality rate. And this is the deaths as a percentage of exit, of ended cases. All right, I got this little line in here which I've been looking for. I call it D10. And this is the case fatality rate, same as this column, except instead of using the daily figure, right, I'm using the figure from 10 days ago because it's going to take time from when you catch the disease to when you die. And I've got 10 days built into this. Okay. And let's, well, these figures don't mean anything because I changed the figure. Stop, get out of there. Let's get rid of these. Delete all. And I can put in, watch this, G10, and that should let me use that as a label on the graph. Because I'm trying to find out what is the realistic case fatality rate. And the graph is over here, but I got really good numbers at this point. I mean, we're into the 2 million level here. These numbers are starting to become statistically significant. And there's that same goddamn funny thing again. All right, let's get this, try to size it to match. And let's see. I need to come out. Oh, that's missing 10 days. That's why. So let's get the size to match first, then slide it over. There we go. That's probably about right. And here is the straight case fatality rate. And this number, although it's cute and easy to work with, I can't get this duplicated anywhere else. So the straight up case fatality rate, I'm going to skip it. All right. That's really not, it's not giving me accurate results because it's not accounting for the lag. These do. These do. But let's look at it anyway, because I've got a case fatality rate, if you do the straight math, is running 6% and growing, right? It's been growing for ever since we got China out of the equation. And I've got two figures over here. One is the D10, which is here, and the other is the deaths as a percentage of exit. Okay, so D10 does not take account anything else. It does not take account the rate of growth of the disease. It doesn't take into account any extra factors such as well, how many people have recovered, whereas this one does. And that is my baby. This is my baby. These numbers over here that China's putting up are cooked. Okay, and I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to decide what is this gap in between this 20% mark and the reported China figures that are around, 4%. And the only thing I can come up with to explain this is China's debt to the truth, is the bit over the curve and below the 20% mark, because this seems to be where it's ending up, is right here. This is how badly they've lied. And we know the figures are working for us. I want to get onto this one real quick, because somebody said it's not as bad as you think. We've only got a few 100,000 cases. This is nothing. It's not so bad. Okay, so I took our daily numbers over here in the U.S. All right, this is how many cases we have each day. Simple reported number recorded for the day. Okay, and we know we started shutting it down back here in mid-March. I mean, a month ago. Okay, and I took those figures and put them over here, and I kept, starting on March 24th, I kept the same growth rate. And let me chart that rate out for you so we get the same growth rate. You can see that here. Ta-da! Finish. Okay, if we had not taken these measures to slow this thing down, this is the percent growth per day we would have had instead of what we actually have right now. And let me pull that one up. And you can see the effectiveness on this. There you go. So this is the growth rate as it stands right now, and it is 4.9% day on day. Let me put these side by side so you can have a look. There we go. So this is the reality over here. And this is the what if. What if we did not take all these actions? Because I got half the people are saying Trump didn't take action fast enough. And the other people are saying it's too damn drastic. And then the other half, the third half of the people saying it ain't so bad really. Okay, this is what we were doing. Had we kept up with that, we would have these figures. Okay, there's March, and we're growing by 30% per day. 14, 18, 24, 32, 42,000 per day. We would currently have around 23 million cases. Had we not taken the actions we did back in mid-March, back when we only had a couple thousand cases. There you go. Meanwhile, you got people saying, man, it's not so bad. Do you blame China? China's been lying through their teeth for 4 months. They are the cause for the bad figures that are out there. If they were understating the case fatality rate by 75%, that's a problem. Their debt to the truth, their debt to the world for lying this badly and covering it up. There's going to be a reckoning for that. Okay, but this is the number we're coming up with. It's not 1%. It's 20%. We have a 20% case fatality rate with this disease. Let me copy that, put it down here. That didn't work. Let me do it again. There. So, if the attack rate stays the same at 70%, okay, and this is our population, and we have a 20% case fatality rate, okay, the attack rate suggests this many severe cases. Blue is the US, 45 million. We multiply the severe cases. No, wait, stop. That's wrong. The attack rate of 70% times the population gives us this many cases. There, that's right. Now, if we take the number of cases and multiply by the case fatality rate of 20%, we're looking at 45 million deaths. That's what we're looking at if we don't all stay home. But we got a good idea how this thing is spread. So I'm kind of tossed up. Do we try to get more people out and back to work? Or do we find a way to seal them all up in their homes for another 2 to 9 months? Well, right now Trump's talking about getting everybody $2,000 a month. Boy, that's good money. But the economy, when we come out, is going to be bullshit. There's going to be a lot of inflation, and I wouldn't be buying from China after this sort of what they spread out. If they lied that bad, traffic coming out of China going to the airports was not being shut off early, right? Because we didn't know what their case fatality rate was, and it delayed action in many countries and allowed it to spread outside of China. So all of those deaths are on their hands. That's what I'm at. Well, that's what we're looking at for the U.S. 45 million dead. This is on par with the bubonic plague. Back in the 1300s, 1350s, 60s, the bubonic plague took out a third of the population of Europe. You can figure the case fatality rate there was more like 30%. Well, we can do 20%, but we got a whole lot of modern medicine to help us out. What we're doing right now is trying to buy time until a vaccine comes along, because if we open up and put everybody back to work, then we're going to see 45 million deaths. And it'll be quick. It'll be over in 6 months, but this would leave a scar on society that'll last, 100 years. All the U.S. wars in all time were not 10 million. This would be a life-changing event here for sure for a society. Okay, that's what I've got today. I'm going to get back over to chat, see who's here and who's talking. Let's see. Hopefully you saw all that stuff, because I get to talking and I miss it all. All right, let's catch up on chat. Incubation period. Yes, there's an incubation period during which the virus can be shed, but the victim isn't showing any symptoms. And that incubation period can be what, 27 days long. There are cases showing that, and a lot of people have no symptoms whatsoever and didn't know they had it, and they've recovered from it, showing no symptoms. You think it's hitting you 24 days later. I'm feeling it today. Sucks. You stay strong, RB. You stay strong. My last exposure was March 14th. That's a month ago. Since I think I should make it. But the hallucinations are interesting. Oh, I get those all the time anyway. Yeah, it's just because I sleep like this and stuff. I keep seeing things that are not there. Fun, but interesting. All right. And a comorbidity. What do you got? Weight, diabetes, sugar. There's plenty of that. Okay, we wish you luck, baby. Silver Nitrate says the Chinese numbers may be correct. You saw the videos of them burning body bags with live people inside. Um, a couple of them, but how far can I extend that? How far can I extrapolate those? Um, I've had a couple of reports of massive death counts, particularly in Wuhan, but also around China. So I went and extended the figures, by the way. Let's see. Let's go to the screen. Here's the screen. Go back to these figures. Here's my China chart. Okay, and I took the figures from China and extrapolated them some, and I used similar figures to what we're seeing because we know that this sudden flat. No, this ain't right. It's total bullshit. So I went with a 25% reduction, which the U.S. saw initially. I ran that for how many days was that run for? 8 days. Okay, probably should have been 7 days. And I dropped it to 20%, ran that for 2 weeks, then 10%, ran that for 2 weeks, and then 5%, and then ran that for the rest of the time. This is April here, April 15th. China says they have 80,000 infections total, and they're figuring stopped back here in mid-February. Well, actually, they slowed down pretty substantially here. And they ended up around 80,000, 82,000 cases. What are they at right now? What are they saying? What's their propaganda number? 82,341. But I've had more reports come in that's total bullshit. Using the figures that I just came up with, suggests closer to 3 million is probably right. And I had come up with 4 to 20 million as being the expected number. And these numbers were different, but this would give them at 20% case fatality, that would give them 600,000 dead. Not 3,000, 600,000. And honestly, this could easily be 800 to a million. China is being savaged by this. This is why they're covering it up, because it is laying the place waste. These figures, we cannot believe them. Now, looking at this similar graph on the closed cases, I am seeing a kind of a pattern develop in other nations. Okay, we can look at this. Let's say Spain. It starts off inverted. Let's open that in a new tab. So the deaths are really high and the recovered are really low because you're going to die before you recover, right? And here we go. They've got 21% death on the closed cases as well. But it starts out high death, low recovery. It should be 0 recovery at the start. Then the numbers go frigged up for a while, and then they separate and balance out. And this is what it looks like. Okay. No, they got a 100% recovery rate. 0%. Oh, well, whichever way it is. But they're wide apart, and then they go to hell in the middle, and then they widen. This is the pattern that I'm seeing. This is the pattern I'm seeing. Let's look at, what was that, Spain? Let's look at Italy. What do we expect here? Okay, 36% deaths. That's really high, but let's look at their graph. Starts out high and low, goes to hell in the middle, and then widens out. Theirs is very much still underway. Let's look at France. 30,000 recovered. They've got 36% death rate. Starts out high and low, goes, I don't know what this is in the middle, goes crazy for a little bit as the numbers start coming in, and then, well, these are actually getting closer together. Hopefully that'll widen out. It's still very much in progress, as you can see. Okay, so we're starting to see some trends for the life cycle of this disease, the life cycle for the pandemic in larger populations. I don't have figures for the recovered on Great Britain, so we'll skip them. China's numbers are bullshit. Let's see if we got stuff on Iran. We cover a 90% death rate. And their graph, high and low, goes to hell, and then spreads out. That's the trend. Turkey, they're having a tough time over there. Let's open that in a new tab, take a look. We got it? We don't have a graph. Maybe it's down here. I don't have a graph of their stuff. And I'm not going to transcribe 1,000 data points to try to make one. How about Belgium? Okay, 39% death rate over there. Okay, high and low, gets skewed, and then spreads. And it's actually getting closer together. Very much in progress here. Very much in progress. Okay. Canada. 10% death rate. High and low, goes to, gets whatever the hell this is, and then spreads out. This is becoming the norm in several countries. I just shown you that. Let's look at Netherlands. Recovered 250. Have we got a graph? I got no graph. Okay. How about Russia? Switzerland. Try out two at a time. Here's Canada. Here's Russia. No graph. Well, I don't have to. I've got less than 10% recovered right now. Okay, Switzerland. Nope. Okay, I'm losing them after that. But for the countries that have serious infections, we got good numbers now coming in. Let's look at China for the hell of it. Do we have them up here? Well, we do have them up here. This is what they got. Starts in the center. I think we missed a bit. We missed their chaos phase and spreading out. Yeah. But these numbers are just, no, not believable. Yeah. This does not reflect what every other country that has had a major infection. It's not reflecting what they're showing. Here's the U.S. You ready? This is the U.S. What's it going to look like? High and low, screwed to bejesus, and then spreading out. That's what's happening in the U.S. And what's our current figures for the death rate? 37%. I hope that gets better. Lordy. But there it is. This is what is going on. This is what explains this. This is a lie, and the rise on the upward end of this the secondary hump. This is by the rest of the world starting to put real data into the equation. Everything before this point is sophistry. That's what I've got. All right, that's what I got for tonight, guys. Let's see if anybody else is talking. There's Gleason News. Good to see you. I'm on my way to work now. You stay safe, Jays. Anna says, I'm back. I had to post a new video. God love you. Hey, Silver. Geographical locations with low population like Wyoming will be in business soon if they even stopped. New York's a hot zone for sure. Population has everything to do with the spread of the disease. I'm in this part of Florida. There's nobody. I mean, I got a guy over here in the woods. He's got 8 dogs. The people next door have left. I don't know where they went, but just like the day before they shut off the state, I think they went to the mother's house or something. Across the street, there's nobody. Out back, there's nobody for 2 miles. Mud, deer, possum, turkey. That's what's out here. I've got another neighbor half a mile up the road this way. I got Billy down the road this way. Don't go on his property because he will shoot first. Billy's a piece of work, he is. Yeah, stay away from Billy. And I'm not going to tell you which of the properties is mine and which is Billy's. But it's pretty quiet out here. Let's go take a look at the map. And I've got one map shows it real well. This is going to be the Johns Hopkins map. Here's the screen. Get over here. Here it is. Here's the U.S. Uh-huh. The population of the U.S. is well reflected in this graph. The East Coast has far more population than everything west of the Mississippi, right? But you zoom in, you start to see differences in the metropolitan areas. You zoom in a little more, and you're really spreading it out. You got the wider metropolitans, and you start to see the counties. Okay, I'm up here in North Florida, where there's nobody home, baby. There's trees, swamps, mosquitoes. There's more alligators in this county than there are people. Whereas down south, yeah, we got 8,000 cases in Miami-Dade. We got 8 million people. You got 3.3 million in Broward County, 3.3 thousand cases. The population centers are where they're taking it. And you got places like Utah, Wyoming. How many people in Wyoming? Barely 1 million. Barely, I think it's 1.1 million. You could probably open some of that up. We have a good idea how this disease is spread and can take appropriate precautions to put the economy back in business. But they are taking a risk. Masks, N95 respirators, gloves would be handy. If you don't have gloves, a way to disinfect your hands would be handy, and do it repeatedly and often. But you're not going to open up eat-in diners, eat-in restaurants, right? You can take a pizza to go, pick up a sandwich to go, get meatloaf in a container to go. Make sure the cook and whoever's handling the money are not handling the food at the same time, right? The person handling the money should not handle any part of the food, not even handle the bag. Somebody else handle the bag. Bars. Tell you the truth, I'd like to open a speakeasy in the backfield. I think we can get away with it because we have no population out here. But that's just going to invite the people to congregate. You're not going to have bars. You're not going to have theaters. Election rallies are right out. Church? Geez, they had church where everybody got together in their cars. And they all parked in front of the church and looked at the Pope up there. That's kind of pushing the envelope. It's time and distance. How close are you to the other people, and how long are you there for? That's going to affect your exposure rates. But you're not going to open up Denver, Colorado. You're not going to open up Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle. You're not going to open them up New Orleans, South Florida, anything in the Northeast. Maine, quiet, real quiet up there. They could probably get their crews out there and plant potatoes in the next month. Right? You're not going to open up some of this stuff. Yeah. But geez, they're shutting down food processing plants. You could probably do a makeshift food processing plant in Wyoming with some of those folks. Just rent a warehouse, put in some tools, some equipment, get some refrigerated trucks. And if you take proper precautions, I think you've got a good chance of mitigating it. Because there's no population in, what is this? South Dakota, North Dakota. Northern Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul, okay, sure. Lots of people there. But North Minnesota, there's nobody home. Nebraska, there's like one county in Nebraska, and there's 4 people in it. They're real friendly, but they don't see each other very often. But the metro areas, yeah, they're going to be forget it for a while. We don't have stuff for Mexico's at 5,300. But where the population is thin, the disease is not spreading because there just aren't enough people meeting up and spreading the disease. Well, we'll see where it goes, but it needs to be a case-by-case sort of thing. You can't have a blanket reopening because that's just begging for millions of deaths. But you also don't need a blanket lockdown in some of these places. Open up the lockdown in a limited fashion, but have compulsory protective equipment. You're going to go to Walmart, don't lick the frickin' handles. Wear a mask. Stay, 5, 10 feet away from the guy in front of you. Only have, limit the number of people in the store. Give them a timer and say you got to be out of there in half an hour so we get more people through the store. I go shopping up in Hamilton County. I'm right in here, right? So we got a Walmart down here. And if I drive an extra 5 miles in the other direction, I get up to this county. Well, down here we got 34 cases. Okay, up here we got 2. I think I'll probably go up there and do my shopping. I might spend an extra 15 cents worth of gas and maybe an extra $10 on the groceries for the same amount of stuff. But these supermarkets, we got all kinds of stuff in the supermarkets around here. Yep. Well, do your thing, man. Grow a garden. Get outside, get some sun, build that vitamin D. It's good for you. If you're in these big areas, hunker down because it's going to be a long push. But if we don't hunker down, we're gonna see those numbers I spoke of. Where'd that one go? Here's the daily. Right? Had we not shut it down a month ago, we'd have 15, 20 million cases right now instead of 644,000. What are you talking? 30 more? 30 times more? There we go. Let's get back to here. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain true. Oh, for Christ's sakes. All right. I think we'll call it there. YouTube's having trouble, guys. Let's catch up. Utah. There's nobody in Utah. Well, there's good quality folks in Utah. Check out my part of the world, Gleason, Tennessee. I don't know where Gleason, Tennessee is. Yeah, but this thing's starting to slow down. I'm getting an error message from YouTube here, so let's call it good. There it is. YouTube's not receiving enough video. All right. I'll probably take a nap, guys. You stay groovy, okay?